Hello, Cara.
Hi, Karen.
Cheers.
Today we're here to talk about gluten-free
groceries. Oh, yeah, you can see it. Grocery bills are going up. Okay, let's talk about gluten-free groceries today. We can talk about our home countries, and then we also need to talk about groceries in Singapore. Hey, in the US, gluten-free groceries are easy. Always slightly more expensive, but there is a wide range, and grocery stores are huge. You can find chicken nuggets, bread, muffins, and crackers. They are sometimes in dedicated aisles and sometimes mixed in with the rest of the food. Really no problem. I shop on the East Coast, so Wegmans is my go-to. Trader Joe's. If you've been to America, Trader Joe's for the win.
Whole Foods.
Whole Foods is a little pricier, but all over the country, it's pretty easy to find a decent amount of good gluten-free groceries in America. How about Australia?
Australia, major cities, no problem. We have Coles and Woolies and Aldi, the three main supermarket chains that have gluten-free products. Similar ranges to what you talked about in the US. We also have IGA, which are the Independent Grocers of Australia.
What that stands for, I
And
have no idea.
they're in Sydney and Melbourne and those places as well, but often in regional areas. I love IGAs. If I'm on holiday or visiting a different town, I always check out the IGA because whereas Woolworths and Coles, the biggest supermarkets, are locked in with more of the mainstream brands, I find IGAs really support the smaller micro gluten-free brands, the mum and dad brands, particularly because the IGAs are owned by mums and dads as well. So they, so there's great, the gluten-free biscuit range and things is very exciting in IGAs.
And I'll admit, I absolutely love going to grocery stores in other countries just to see what gluten-free options they have. Last time I went to see a friend in London, we had a fabulous time. I made her take me to the grocery store. Thanks, Amanda.
I always take an extra bag when I go to the
Oh, yes. And just so much like fun stuff. I don't know what they're called, but there's little cherry tart things.
Bakewell tarts.
Yeah. Bakewell tarts from in England and Lamingtons and those mint slice things.
Oh, the Anna's mint slice, they do a gluten-free version now.
And Tim Tams. They have gluten-free.
Woolies do a dairy-free mint slice as well, which is popular in my house with the dairy and As we're talking about the UK, one of the interesting things to segue into gluten-free grocery shopping in Singapore, visitors will actually see some gluten-free Waitrose and Tesco products on shelves. Not Sainsbury's, I don't know. Yes, Sainsbury's as well?
Actually, what's interesting is Singapore has a smaller overall gluten-free range. It has a much more diverse and multi-country gluten-free range because they are importing things from England, Australia, New Zealand, America, Canada, and Germany too. So, Italy, other places in Europe.
I don't want our Italian friends getting upset.
Humor me, just humor me. Okay. Not you, them. You already humor me. So Singapore, you can definitely find gluten-free products in the grocery stores. There are going to be less of them. And they come and go.
Yes.
Because everything is imported, and because everything is imported, it is
pricey.
Because in addition to the product, you're paying for the plane ticket to get it here.
Yeah, and I don't want to confuse or mislead anyone by mentioning Waitrose, Tesco and Sainsbury's and making you think that those supermarkets are here. Because I know in Thailand, for example, there are Tesco supermarkets. They don't exist here in Singapore. Different supermarket chains here, FairPrice and Cold Storage, have relationships with those brands in the UK. So they only stock a really small range, but they are here.
Yeah.
There is one brand we do need to mention. Okay, Max. M&S Food Hall. Celiac is here. Not every M&S in Singapore has a food hall, and they do not have the same large, awesome range that you would find in the UK. But that's actually, I think it is quite good. I do think they're quite good. They regularly have at least a selection of bread and buns and cookies and cereals. And things are overall well marked. Yeah. And if you're familiar with that brand from the UK, then you're going to, if you're coming from the UK, you probably already know what you can and can't have. It's going to be the same stuff imported at a slightly higher price. Of course, for Australia, New Zealand, Eastern, I guess we should just know because someone will bring it up in the comment. Are you talking about the O word? I was oh my gosh, no, wait. That is the first cheap one. The first one is Floods per Million and gluten-free testing. If you are Australian or New Zealand and you aren't buying the English brands or American brands, you used to be aware that they are produced and labeled gluten-free on 20 parts per million of gluten detected. In Australia, we have strict rules around what can be labeled gluten-free, and we allow 0 to 3 parts per million. In France, America, 20 parts per million is really, really small. And I realize that 0 is even less, but it is pretty much the equivalent to less than half a crumb. So yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. We also need to mention the problem with oats. America recognizes certified gluten-free oats in the United States, and so does UK, and they will show up in products coming from those countries. I realized that in Australia and New Zealand, I thought considered gluten-free. Now, there's a whole nother backstory on that, and I'm sure I have another video on why oats are a problem. And we do recognize that some people are significantly just sensitive to oats. It's got the similar protein. It is different than gluten. And I understand that. We definitely understand that some people are really sensitive to it. If you are sensitive to oats, please beware if you're shopping in Singapore that products coming from other countries may have oats in them, so check your pack. And also, we have other videos about hotels and what's available, what to bring. Any gluten-free bread that I have seen served in hotel doesn't have any labeling on it. I mean, you can tell it's gluten-free, but on a gluten-free diet, I couldn't identify gluten-free bread. But there is, whilst we know that it's gluten-free, we don't know what other ingredients are in that bread. So it may contain potatoes. And if you know that you are one of the people with celiac disease that reacts to that other than in oat, then in gluten-free oats or wheat-free oats, as we call them in Australia, probably bring your own bread. Please bring your own bread. You are a great candidate for service preference, as we mentioned in the previous video. Okay, but you know what? We don't always have to go to the regular grocery store. In Singapore, you can go to the wet market. Wet market is open generally from about dawn to noon, 6 days a week, always closed on Mondays and closed during Chinese New Year. The wet market is generally all your fresh vegetables. You can get fresh meat. It's almost always all single ingredients. Great place to go. It's an adventure. You definitely could save some money if you're shopping for vegetables and meats at the wet market. Just it's drastically different than the grocery store. Just that. And okay, there's one other store we have to mention. Which one? Mustafa. Mustafa is actually going to be on video. It's an adventure. I just can't. But you will find it. But not for what you're expecting, nor where you're expecting to be. And you'll also find everything else in this. If you're looking for some basic cooking supplies, food watts, and Redman, not Redmart, but Redman is a good place to go. And if you want to order online and have it delivered, love delivery, especially the heavy stuff, is beyond apart. And also, you can get products delivered to your hotel in Singapore. I saw one the other day. It said up to 14 days prior to arrivals. Redmart or Lazada. So go to Lazada.com, and Redmart is the grocery part of that. FairPrice and cold storage both have online shopping and delivery, as well as many of the specialty stores here. So again, we'll add that to our list. Oh, and actually, you mentioned Australian gluten-free lines before. If for some reason you get here and you just can't get by a few days here in Singapore without a gluten-free Lamington, Ryan Supermarket does stock the Celiac range. I know Celiac in Australia make a lot. I don't know whether Ryan may or may not. We'll have to check that. But they do have a range of celiac stuff and also gluten sausages, like gluten-free sauce. There's a lot of good stuff. Yeah. Now, look, there is actually a handful of things that are really hard to get here. Number one, gluten-free chicken nuggets. Yes, they exist and you can make them, but remember, everything is imported into Singapore. So things generally come frozen are much more expensive, and shipping space and storage space is always a priority for them. So things like gluten-free chicken nuggets are super hard to find. Yeah. I definitely never seen gluten-free nugget available at any convenience. So if you do have a celiac child or gluten intolerant child who is limited in the food choices, packed a lot of snacks. Yeah, it will. I wish I could say otherwise, but it will be tough. We could go on for hours. I go to the supermarket. We the supermarkets, the main ones in Singapore are cold storage, which is actually no longer branded as cold storage. It's CS Fresh. Like that. There are many in exchange. I know that we've forgotten because other good farms. We're going to attach a list. Scroll down into the notes on wherever you're watching this video. And we probably have put down a PDF of what's grocery store to look for. Yeah, those three that I just mentioned, they're the ones that you'll see in most areas with a reasonable range and products from lots of it. Thank you to all of my awesome friends who've taken me to supermarkets in other countries. You guys are the best. We could talk about this all day, but it is time to pour ourselves a new drink and tell you more stuff in the video. Okay. Cheers. Happy travels.